In favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That was you a second, okay.
Correct.
All right, for our new business, the first one is the occupancy permit for Third Coast Heating and Cooling located at 4571 North 125th.
Yes, so this was previously the We Buy Any Car location on 125th Street. It is a 2-tenant building. Vehicle transactions and vehicle warehousing were taking place there. Now it is switching to a office space, warehousing supplies, and storage of machinery to build ductwork. They're going to be there from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and do offer 24/7 emergency service. So there could be people coming in there at night or on weekends. And there's approximately 6 people that will be employed at this building. It is within the zoning code allowable use. And I would like to make a condition of the approval being that the permits for the machinery that they are looking to put in there to build the ductwork, any permits that are required for that be applied for and granted.
And they're already in there, it looks like?
To my knowledge, they are not.
Okay, I saw the truck there and sign and stuff, but
Okay.
I
Was
just
there-
assumed maybe they're already in, but.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Do you know if they're gonna be housing trucks there, their vehicles?
It is not stated on the description of the business there. I don't know off the top of my head if they're going to be storing vehicles inside of the building. But I can definitely follow up on that if you would like me to before moving forward.
Because they have a, 24-hour emergency service, so I don't know if those trucks are
Actually
at
inside.
someone's house or they're stored inside and someone's got to come get them.
Sure.
Like a ins and out things in the wee hours in the morning.
Sure. And I can,
A question, I don't know that it.
But they got those parking spaces there, right? Those are
correct. They
theirs.
do have the parking out front. Yes.
And the machinery to build the ductwork, that's the kind of stuff you're talking about that they would get permits for. if they
Correct.
go
If
that
any
way.
type of electrical or building would need to be done.
I'll make a motion to approve the occupancy permit for Third Coast Heating and Cooling at 4571 North 125th.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, number 2 is the presentation on the future of the property located at 12701 West Hampton Avenue by Adam Petrie. Step up to the microphone there, Adam.
Yes, so we have the proposed, sorry, Adam is a different person. So this is going to be, I believe, Dr. McGraw. He is going to be presenting the whole discussion for this, and the item for this is a discussion on what we see or what the property owner sees as being the future use of the building across the street from us, the former Chase Bank. Kind of getting an idea of what they want to do with it, how they're going to do it, what the businesses look like. This was kind of at my request and after our discussions with the building owners to try to give you guys an idea of what's going on there. Because at the previous building board meeting, there was some discussion over the medical clinic and then the cycling and the
all that.
Type
Yep.
of stuff.
So Adam's not presenting tonight?
And you are? Okay.
So you're gonna. So you're speaking about the whole thing tonight. Okay.
So I do have their most updated PowerPoint here, which when Mr. McGraw is ready, I can go ahead and do the slide throughs.
And then Dr. McGraw, so that you're going to go through this PowerPoint, is this the PowerPoint that we got
Yes.
in the email or is this the handout? We have like 2 of them at least.
Just some very small changes to the handout if you were emailed the previous one.
Yes, I did provide.
Just put a picture on the front page.
That's the only change?
I think I added one slide with some numbers for the doctors. They are in this handout.
Okay, go for it.
So, yeah, I just wanted to quick, start with the building and then number 2 would give us a little bit of the floor plan that we're planning for. So And if you go back farther in the handout, I have a whole page of this drawing, so you can see it a little better. But the yellow highlight there would be the DNA autos. So they'd have a couple offices and a bathroom, and that'll face the west end of the building. And that will also entail that whole west part of the parking lot. So they'll have similar pathways coming in and out as it is now for the parking. Signage is gonna be on that drawing too, where they're gonna have the similar signing to what was there with the Chase Bank. And then if you look on the doctor's office, the plan would be to have 3 medical suites. Oh, just that.
Oh, one more, sorry.
Sorry. And then,
Okay, just for 1 second.
Yeah.
I have so many things that were given to us. I'm trying to get, and you talked about signage. Where on here is it talk about signage?
that would be the next slide. So you would have some signs out.
Yeah, so where the green arrows are where the vertical sign was right above where it says DNA in red on the left-hand side of this drawing. That's where the vertical sign is gonna be for the DNA motors. And then the 2 signs where the Chase Bank sign was right above the west side door, entry door where it says a little tiny DNA, that's basically the drawing of a building. The rest is a parking lot, all in red. So it's just basically parcel where the DNA motors is gonna be with the 2 signs. There's gonna be 1 sign right above the door that previously was the Chase sign, and then 1 is gonna be right on that north west corner right above. Where again, Chase sign was previously was just gonna be, shifted a little bit towards the edge of the building.
2 on the building, 1 in the parking lot.
Yes, 1 vertical right above the end.
A 2-sided.
Yes,
The ones in the building are all DNA?
at that tiny little corner, yes.
The 2 that are on the building are both DNA?
Correct.
Okay. What about signage for,
The doctor's office, I didn't have them on this drawing, but we would have 1 over the door facing Dayton Street, again on the building, and then 1 in the back where we'll have the door entering from the back parking lot, which is currently the drive-through area.
so we don't have that marked on where,
On that.
and what about the
We're
cycling?
not to that point yet. That's.
Correct.
that-
So how about
that's-
we let it, because we do have a certain amount of time here, so let's have them get through this and then we'll give you our questions. Can you work that way?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, go ahead.
So essentially, the building would be, split into the 3 sections that we have, the DNA automotive on the west end, then the doctor's office. We have cycling that is already has occupancy, and then some office space, just still build out the shoes for the bedding and the shoes in the basement. So if we go to the next slide, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview of what the doctor's office is. We basically don't take insurance. So we accept cash, debit, or credit at the time of service. All of the providers are independent contractors in our clinics. We have 5 clinics. We can keep moving ahead there and keep show. Bob Fettig is the founder, developed this, opened the first clinic in Gary in 2016. I'm the general manager that joined the clinic in July of 2018. So we provide the location, the medicine, the equipment, and supplies within reason. And all of the providers are independent contractors that are running their own business in our clinics. So if you will, it's not new type of model. It's what we grew up with, where you go into the doctor, you pay the doctor after they take care of you, you walk out the door. You don't have to worry about insurance approvals, billing, what you're going to get in the mail, that kind of thing. So that was the concept where we take care of the business headache, allow the providers just to get back taking care of patients. So they spend as much time as they want with you. They set their own service fee, and we set the fees for labs and meds, and that's how it works. No coding for insurance. Again, they determine the patient needs. They don't have any contract or lease or rent agreement. We get a share of the service fee and a share of the labs and the meds. That's how we do it. And we provide the administrative staff. So we basically check the patients in, turn them over to the provider. They take care of the patients. and move on from there.
Just curious, what lab do you use?
Pardon me?
What lab do you use?
We use LabCorp and Quest. We are CLIA-waived to do internal testing for strep and influenza COVID in-house.
Okay.
Otherwise, we get overnight results from
Yep.
those two labs. So again, we opened the doors in Darien in 2016. That's the only building we currently own. We opened just back one more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Then we opened Brookfield and Janesville in 2019. And then Cedarburg and Burlington were both open kind of as a result of COVID. We had a lot of patient demand because we stayed open. We actually saw patients. We actually treated patients throughout COVID. Our providers worked closely with experts on early treatment, trying to keep them out of the hospital. We were very successful. So those last two were opened in 21 and 22. Okay, next slide. So in Darien this past year, we have over 5,500 unique patients. We have doctors, we have 2 doctors that work out of there, 2 physician assistants, nurse practitioners, two nurse practitioners, and we have 3 physical therapies. So it depends on the size of the building. We also have a counselor in there. We have a chiropractor 1 day a week. So it depends on the model. Again, if we have space and we have a provider that comes to us, they have to be licensed. They have to have their own malpractice insurance. At our other services, we have acupuncture in Brookfield and Cedarburg. And so again, we're open to the providers taking care of the patient needs that they have. So next slide. So over the 5 clinics, this year, we have 11,400 unique patients that visit our clinics, 22,700 patient visits. We're attracting people with high deductibles, a lot of people with no insurance. They're not able to get in to see their primary care doctor. If you call us in the morning or earlier in the day, you're almost always going to be able to get in to see the provider the same day. Certainly tomorrow if it's late afternoon. We have companies now that are looking at us as a source for primary care, not just for the primary care alone, but we can refer those patients to a $400 MRI at a Simon Med, for example, instead of maybe $6,000 or $8,000 at one of your system hospitals. So at the end of the day, the companies are looking at paying for some of these things because they can save a lot of money at the end of the year in claims. And we actually have companies that are self-insuring, and they're sending their employees to us, paying for the primary care, and then they're setting up these networks that we can refer out, and they're paying cash. You can get a hip replaced at Solstice Health in Wauwatosa for $19,000. It could be as much as $80,000 in one of the systems. So that's what we're doing. We're helping people. We plan, if this is approved in the future, in this middle part of the building over here, we plan to move our Brookfield clinic, where we're leasing, to this facility. We believe it's close enough. It's only about 10 minutes away. We believe that the patients that we're serving there would follow us, and then we could build into a great addition to this community. And
Is this bigger than what you have over there?
Yeah, it'd be about 2.5 times square foot
Okay.
with what we have. So it would be similar, not as big, but similar to our Darien model. What it's looking like is I have room for 3 medical providers, and then acupuncturist, PT, and we have extra room over here where they can do exercises and other trainings. This would give us a lot of room to handle 45 or 50 patients a day. So I think that's really the rest of the handout. I do have a written summary a little bit of what our proposed, long-term plan is for the building, but that would be the 3 things right now. Be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, we can have the lights. Yep, he's getting them.
Mark, do you want this still on?
No, we don't think we need that. You guys okay with that? Okay. Questions, comments from the board?
Yeah, I have a couple. With the layout you provided to us, my understanding, you came tonight to give us a full view of what the building is going to be utilized for. I'm missing part of the building of what's there. Cycling's, you have just written, I don't.
That in detail, because that's already been occupied. because he's already been approved for that. So that's the cycling training that's going on. Is that-
It's still, to be fair, it's still part of the layout of the building and your overview for us to look at, right? That's what we're doing here tonight. With that being said, I mean, and also you have signage, but you don't have the signage that's supposed to be for cycling. Cycling's supposed to have a sign as well in the building. I don't, the overview is not really here completely for us. In fairness to the board and everybody, right? I mean, we really want to give this the most attention, and I'm just a little shaken by all the difference. We have like 8, 9, 10 different changes in the last 2 days, and I don't know, it's hard for me to really, I guess, think it all over and make decisions on a bunch of stuff thrown at me here 5 minutes ago.
So I can get you more detail. My understanding was that as part of the PUD that we would need to come forward with to get the medical approved to go into this building, that would be part of that whole detail, what we're focused on.
Yeah, I mean, we're not here to discuss if you can bring a medical in, right? I mean, we're here discussing the overall, that's what you
Right.
came to tell me, the overall plan of the entire building. And I'm failing at having that information in front of me, in my opinion.
So,
Any other thoughts over here from the board? Questions?
None really, since we're not really talking about the medical, I was just kind of curious at hours and.
Okay.
yeah,
traffic-wise and things like that.
anything that would be regarding the medical in and of itself would be covered if and when the
Right.
planned use development district
Right.
overlay district is
So that-
applied for. So this discussion was brought forward to, and what was discussed with the applicants and the building owner was, we wanted to have some idea of what the building was going to be used for going forward, because we had the initial 3 uses that were kind of discussed at the previous building board in December. And then after that, then we had the DNA Motors coming in and saying that they wanted to move in there, adding a 4th layer to this. And I wanted to have a little bit of a timeout here where we kind of regrouped and tried to get more information on how this building was going to be used, because it just seemed like this was, and what was told to me by one of the owners was that it was still fluid at the time. This was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I wanted to make sure that we had an idea of what we were doing
Sure.
and what we were considering going forward.
I mean, for my part, so when I first heard about the doctor's office part, that was brand new to me. I didn't know that such a model was even out there. So between then and now, when I looked at the website and so on and got some information and with your presentation, I mean, I really like the idea. I think it would be an asset to the village. So that part of it, is very good to me. But I think what our concerns are is this has been, like, there's a lot of inconsistencies that I'm seeing. So some slides are upside down, some slides have Hampton North, some on the south. So it's kind of confusing, navigating through all the information, just little things like that. And how there's just been so many changes all through the process. What we would prefer to see is, a well-established, thought-through plan without getting handouts, 5 minutes before we go, and try to make a decision. Does it make sense? We just want to be sure we're doing right by the village and what we approve or don't approve.
It does. I just was also under the impression that we could move forward with DNA Auto, because that's a business that's already commercially approved here, and that the further detail would be part of my extensive PUD application that was yet to come.
Right. And
We-
I just wanted
since
to
it's
get-
already, yes, since the zoning would accept that, that's true, but that doesn't rubber stamp an approval. So
Yeah, I just
again,
wanted,
because that's part of-
that's the next item. We haven't approved
So I think
anything
we're
for.
deviating from what this is supposed to be, and it is an overview, not of selling us on one business or another, but an overview of the building with now 4 businesses in there. And we don't, in my opinion, we don't have that. I have we're focusing on two buildings or two suites and businesses and not the rest when it's supposed to be a whole presentation of
Clear
everything,
picture
of what's going
Of
on.
everything. A clearer picture. It may
Yeah.
be clear in your mind, but it's not in ours.
What would add that? I mean, I've got the cycling on there, as I mentioned. I just didn't draw
Yep.
the square footage. That's already been approved for occupancy. We have the floor plan for the medical and the floor plan for the DNA auto and the plan for the parking lot and the signage for DNA auto. The rest of the medical piece, including, we plan to take down the canopy and the drive-through and make that the parking lot in and out for
Mhm.
the doctor's office, and that is in the written notes on the last page. And then we just plan to have the signage, front and back over the door going into the doctor's office. So I guess.
But I can't piece together
Yeah.
cycling and cut it out from what we were giving for what the cycling space was gonna look like on the drawing. And I can show it to you because I have it here. I don't know where that is inside this building. I don't know what this layout looks like. There's, entrances and exits, and there has to be, two egress ins and outs. There's not that I can see. I'm just looking for an overall view, not the business. We're not talking about any of the businesses, like them, don't like them, can, can't. This part was supposed to be a presentation to lay out what this building is gonna look like and what's all going to be done out of there.
So, well,
And that's how I'm taking what we're supposed to be doing
right.
here.
So
Correct me if
my
I'm
thought
wrong.
is to, so I'll make a motion to table this till.
Well, in this is just a discussion. There's no action items on this. It's just a discussion on what,
Okay, but-
on this. And basically what, you can recommend that, hey, going forward, when we get into this next phase here, if there is, with regards to that, we need to have something, more concrete,
We
which
can
will
work
be.
With you,
cor-
Administrative and or myself, or, I'll be willing to work with you even page by page, so you're clear on what we're looking for.
Correct. And again, when I sent my email out with the agenda, I wanted to make it clear. I did state in there that this is not about the PUD. This is about the future use of the building.
Right.
I explicitly said that in my email, and I explicitly said that on the agenda. So that's the whole discussion
Correct.
that we wanted to have.
Right, so
What
basically, we want a more in-depth diagram of what that total floor space.
because the confusion is coming.
In there, the doorways, the exits, so on and so forth. More in-depth of where the signage is gonna be and so on. I
And
think would help.
yeah, and that can get sorted out with regards to the doctor's office during the PUD process. But again, what this was all about was what is going in there. We wanted to more solidify the plan because again, we had the cycling. Now the cycling is going to seem like it's going to go out, but it might come back in when they come back in the winter time, and they might have to sublease out from the doctor's office because it's going to be where the physical therapy area is. That's kind of the whole confusion part, and I want to get laid out, and that's what this was kind of meant to try to flush out. We can work on that going forward, but I think that at this point we should, we're kind of running, kind of skewing into the next item, which is
Yep.
the DNA motors.
So, are you kind of hearing where we're coming from then?
We just gotta add to what you have for a full view. And like Ben said, and Mark, we're here to help to give you or let you know what we want to at least look at, right? And I just was looking for a total view and even a little more information on, the basement of what's going on, as a full presentation of what the building is all gonna do. Cause that was kind of vague, but I mean, it's a storage area, right? But I mean, if you're gonna give us a overview, I'd like to just have the full overview.
Okay,
The basement's just storage.
Yeah, right. I mean,
So there's no
and that we have, right, we got through all that, but
Okay, thank you very
We
much.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, then get to our third one. That is the occupancy for DNA Motors. Yeah,
Correct. So
127.
this is the kind of the second part to this discussion. They have an occupancy permit application for a used car rental center. In with the packet, I have the materials that were provided to me by DNA Motors. It includes a land title survey where they describe kind of the office area with the build out. It also includes a little bit of a floor plan and a parking lot plan there, along with a letter from them kind of describing their business. It is my understanding that this is going to be a used luxury car dealership with I was told, I believe, between 30 and 35 vehicles outside, 1 or 2 vehicles inside in the showroom. And that is all that I have right in front of me off the top of my head. We do have the owner of the used car center here with us today. So if you have questions for him, he is here to answer those.
So the paperwork we got here, this layout isn't what it is.
It basically just doesn't have that, on the new one, updated one, I think the distributor goes, there's an updated layout that's similar to the one you saw on the slideshow, with the yellow.
So that was yours.
Yeah,
So this is your added updates.
those are the updated, yeah, those two are the correct.
Yeah, can you have a call to-
Updated.
Could you come up to the microphone?
Thank you.
You're gonna have all those cars out there in a parking lot. Where are the patients gonna go for their doctor's office?
It's in the back, where the canopies are getting removed, that's where the massive parking lot is gonna be for the doctor's office.
Okay,
Just 55 spots that he's claiming out for DNA.
I do have a question on this one here, the red and blue. It's got a build out marked out, 40 by 60. Is that in
That's a
addition?
potential, yes, we discussed that with Mr. Fettig, that's not in works, obviously, we don't have the occupancy permit or anything like that, so that's a potential future build out for the shop. Currently, the way our business model is set up is a boutique style retail, used car shop is gonna be outsourcing the shop itself here locally. Hopefully, we're already chatting with a couple of people from Butler on minor shops here, and then the one across from Napa and whatever. But essentially, we're gonna be outsourcing
okay.
our safeties initially, till we figure out, what that project could even look like. But as of now, that part of the work is gonna be outsourced.
You said you're gonna have cars inside.
We're only gonna have 2 now on display with the new, so we have about approximately 1,000 square feet inside. There's gonna be 1 or 2 vehicles on display inside.
Is that building a full basement all the way through?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it is.
And there's Spancrete there, and we have, I guess we'll have to look at paperwork for that. That's all supported.
How are you gonna get a cars in there?
They just double doors is all they need.
Is that is a
Yeah.
double door on the west side? Okay,
And we could forego cars inside.
right.
Well, it's just a safety issue for me that, that the
Yeah.
building could take,
Will it hold-
vehicles
hold the
on it.
car?
As he mentioned, we'll have a mix, just to kind of clarify, there's gonna be some higher end stuff that comes in. Those are like 1 or 2 of those. It's not gonna be too many of those. Those would be inside. That's the only stuff that would ever go inside. For a regular vehicle, we're not looking to go inside.
Okay.
So half of that parking lot is for the car
All of it.
and the backside is for parking?
Yes, so the backside, the closest to the entrance point is gonna be a customer parking.
Okay.
Those 2 per code also, as far as the disabled parking, will have to obviously be for the closest ones to the entry point. And then the far back corner, of the parking lot. Typically, the way dealers are set up, I'm sure you guys know that there's plenty of, we would keep the ones for the wholesale, the ones that they're not gonna be close to a display. So if you get, the older vehicle and a trade and stuff like that, we would put those out there before it's prepped for the lot, before the safety inspection, before we can get it to the shop locally here and stuff like that. So those are gonna be far back west side of a corner. The
Okay.
rest, the whole middle side and the closest to the street would be our display.
Okay.
There's gonna be probably 30 to 35 display vehicles.
Since this is part of the bigger picture, I don't see how we can do this.
Forward with it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I mean, there's questions like, so is
And we're
all
not
these,
opposed to it, but just because it's included in the whole picture of the entire building, we, can't just let one part go, right?
In the ordinance, you can grant occupancy to part of the building as long as the building inspector signs off on
we
it,
did
but
do that partially on, so are these offices currently there? And what does T mean? There's a room, there's a box that says T?
Toilet.
It is toilet.
Toilet?
You're right.
I took a stab. So that's currently there? That's existing?
No, that's getting built out.
Right, so that's part of where, the last part was like, what's existing, what's not? Permits have to be pulled, what all, and
Right now, from the most updated, kind of like yellow outline, the showroom and that like far southwest corner is the only thing that's basically in place. The rest, the two offices will have to be built out.
and I,
The
the other thing I'd like to verify with fire department is 2 egress.
yeah, so it's
Exit points.
it's
Right
my-
now, it's 1.
it's my understanding that that you would need those, and that if you have a wall and separating two things, the door there doesn't serve as an egress.
Doesn't, that's my
So
understanding.
so we would need to, that would be one of the things that would need to probably get addressed. And talking to the building inspector on how they can get that taken care of. And then, do you know with that door there, is that door going to be locked, or is it going to be like, how is that in between the doctor's office and the car dealership? How do you know if that's going to be locked, or is that going to be opened? It just seems like
It
there's
doesn't qualify though as an egress, so.
I'm just wondering if there's what the access for both of those, if people are going to be able to come and go into the doctor's office and into the car dealership. I was just wondering.
Initially, during the build-out phase, there is gonna be access point that's gonna be locked. That's kind of like what we talked about. But as far as the permanent solution, there's gonna be a wall. There's not gonna be access, to my understanding, from the doctor's office directly into the.
Oh, I see. So that's gonna be closed off. Okay.
Okay, so there's on a door.
Other questions from the board?
So then the car dealership side only has one entrance,
We'll have one main double door entrance.
but no other doors?
From the west side. As of now, no other.
Right.
Yeah, so I would like to know from the fire department officially if they would be able to pass that as a
Maybe since it's double doors, they can, or whatever. You'll have to find out.
There has to be 2 separate
There's gotta
entrances.
be another way out.
Separate way out. Yeah.
And that divider wall with a door in it does not,
Right.
Right, since that's gonna be a wall, it's not even a
but
door.
even with a doorway being in it, it's not an access out.
Right. So there's got to be at least one other door, right? Or 2.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
Maybe we can always wait.
I'm just, if there happens to be a fire on the west side of the building, there's no way out, right? Since there's not a door on the north or the south side, and there's a wall on the east side.
I understand. I was under the impression that code was based on the distance that a person would have to transit inside a building, but I'm more familiar with manufacturing. So, with the building, we can put additional exit doors on the building.
Yep.
Because in the case of the doctor's office, we would have to do the same thing.
Right. No, they have the back end, they have the back way out. They have the front off of Hampton,
One on each
and then
side.
they have a hallway with an entrance, so they,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so they have two.
based off of what I can tell off of this plan, they have two.
Yeah.
And cycling, I can't tell now because it's
Out there in the.
It's out in the middle of no, and, you know, it's different from what the cycling was when we did it. So as long as there weren't walls put up that interferes with what originally was given to us for cycling.
It's still there.
Yeah, I mean, you understand, I don't.
So, I guess it's up to, if you guys want to, have me just verify with the building inspector and, we can bring this back on the 21st, to just double check and make sure that's what we need to do. I guess it's up to you guys how you want to move forward.
I would be more comfortable with tabling this to the next meeting, just because I would like to see a few more ducks in a row. Because some questions came up about the exits. You could know it by then where you want to put that or exit and so on. And do you expect to have the rest of the building thing in 2 weeks? Well-
I'm Steve Fennick. I'm one of the owners of the building. I'm sorry about the miscommunication here. I wasn't thinking of this as a building, like you guys would want an overview of the building. That's my complete misunderstanding. And yeah, the plans on this building have been fluid. Marco is a customer of ours at Egon. I found out a couple weeks ago he was going to be interested in using the building. I just want to go back. When we made the offer to purchase Chase Bank, the building, I did a very cursory novice review of the zoning, and the institutional district that exists now didn't exist. As far as I'm aware, that was put into place in May of 2024. So we had put the offer in far before that. It took a year for Chase Bank to go through their legal and accept our offer on the building, which was its own fun story to go through. So when I purchased the building, my intent was to use it for the doctor's office on the main floor. The cycling clinic is a person that we've worked with. I think I talked to everybody last time about that. And he fits in perfectly with the space that we set aside for PT. So I wasn't aware of the zoning changes, my fault. I mean, I'm sure we got notifications because of the other building that was happening. So we're trying to catch up with figuring out what we can do with the building. Marco came in, even if the doctor's office were to have used the entire building, we've never used that entire parking lot. Just even with the number of customers that we have at the Darien Clinic, which is 3 times the physical size of this building, our parking lot is maybe half the size. So I think that, being a great customer of ours, we know each other, this is a potential good use of the space for him, and it falls under the zoning that's applied.
I don't know if you guys are familiar, just to jump in with Adam, there was also, these guys are, we go way back from the car business days. Adam used to work for a long, long time in a car business. I also, on the side of this, I owned the consulting agency for RV and auto dealers as well, mainly kind of an insurance side of things. So Craig, my partner, that's also attending here today, has been in the car business probably for over 30 plus years. He owned 2 different independent lots, dealerships. So when we partnered up, I contacted Adam as I was actually doing some business with them with the Egon, and we got to talk about this. He pointed the building, I kind of did a scan of a lot, and I approached them. This was just probably, I don't know, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, roughly.
Okay.
So that's why the kind of like a shift, I guess. I'm just new here. We just came in, and once they kind of looked at how we can parcel out the office space that we needed, and the main thing was the parking lot for display and everything, we made an offer, and that's when we probably came and.
Sure. I mean, it's understandable. I mean,
To clarify,
life happens that way. We get that. I mean, we don't hold any
So
fault
you
for
guys
that.
are explaining to us how it's kind of been chaos, right?
Oh, yeah.
So then you can understand where we're at right now, where we got thrown all this stuff. You just made mention though that PT and cycling's together.
That's what we've done at the other plants. So the reason why I came to you in December for the occupancy of that space is because the person who wanted the space wanted to get in there as soon as possible. And the space is open, you know, because there's nothing, if you go in the building right now, the only thing that is there, we took out what were the teller, benches.
Right. I guess my question is, so that's a dual, it's not just cycling? I was under the assumption it was
No.
cycling.
At this point, it is just like, that's all we have occupancy.
Okay,
Okay, what I'm saying is, if we were to move ahead with PUD, which is something new, like I said, I
Yep.
didn't expect to have to do a PUD when we offered to purchase the building. Cycling would have been part of our PT area because it uses the same space.
Sure.
It's just. it's
Okay,
an open
so we got to
space.
get back to our
Yeah.
agenda
But
item here.
Sorry, as far as
Move this
Marco
out.
is concerned, if he needs an additional door, we will accommodate whatever code requires for the section of the building that we would like to lease. We're just trying to make possible his use of the space, he has an immediate need. The doctor's office PUD process may or may not get approved, and it's gonna take months and months of work to go through. We were told approximately 4 to 6 months was the typical PUD process, and I didn't want to hold up Marco.
Okay.
If it was possible. So we'll do what is needed in terms of code. to
Okay.
accommodate
and
his
as far as
use
just
of the building.
DNA Motors, to clarify, to kind of like piggyback off of that, we've been, Craig and I, we've been looking already for probably good 4 or 5 months almost. Different locations, different, obviously, something had to like fit the
Sure.
mold for the car dealership. And we actually, the way kind of like the whole day happened, when I went to do some business with Egon Direct, we were actually looking at one of the properties down here on 124th. That's an industrial district. And caught our eye, kind of like, we were like, hey, maybe this can fit. And that's kind of like how I threw the whole thing. So this is not new, I guess where I'm heading with this. We've been looking, as far as the DNA motors for a little while. We always liked the Butler area because it fits kind of like our model and the way we do business. And it's going to be a lot of internet clientele, a lot of per appointment stuff, a lot of finance deals, subprime deals that we call as well. So essentially, that's why we kind of like zeroed in on,
Sure.
Butler. And when this opportunity came by, we were like, oh, we know each other. We've had a relationship for years, especially with Adam and Steve. And that's where we are at. So I didn't know, obviously, I'm not familiar with, as far as the rest of the building.
Any other questions from the board?
None. I guess my biggest one is the exits.
Which we've
Fire
addressed.
exit.
That's been addressed. So I guess my question would be, approving this wouldn't change or not necessitate, what's the right word I'm looking for? For the writer, the whole building plan, that grand scheme still needs to be presented to us.
The building plan, which the PUD would kind of encompass all of that as one whole type of package. Yes, it would go into much more detail
Sure.
about all of that. For now, again, you can, if you want, it's up to the board's discretion on how you want to move forward with this particular item. There's 4 options of approve with conditions, table, and deny. So with those four out there, it's up to you guys to decide if you want to table this till the next meeting to gather more information, get more information of where that second door would be.
Sure.
Approve it with the condition that they come forward with that. It's up to you.
Okay. Last call for questions, or do we have a motion?
I guess at this point, I'll make a motion to approve the occupancy permit for DNA Motors with the contingency of addressing a fire exit.
Or condition of addressing, is that the wording you want with, under the condition?
Condition of addressing a fire exits.
Is there a second?
Mr. Holden, I do not hear a second.
No. There's a second. I'm actually not sure how to proceed from here. The motion is made. and
So if there's not a second,
so
the
then
the motion fails and there has to be another motion.
I make a motion to table until, next meeting. So we can get these questions that I think are valid safety questions. Can a car go inside? For sure, you know, verify that it's not a square footage, right? And then, you know, maybe get a better idea of signage of what's gonna go on to there. I think, you know, that would be what we'd be looking for, so I'd like to table it with those questions to be answered.
Is there a second?
I'll second that. Get a little more information.
Yeah, I mean, it's not,
All right, a motion has been made to table pending further information and details and questions answered and seconded. Any last discussion on the motion? All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
That motion passes. So is that clear where we're standing now on this? So
What would be the date and stuff for obviously the,
we meet again in 2 weeks,
January 21st.
21st.
Yep,
Yep.
yeah,
The,
Yep.
the time might fluctuate a little bit because we have extra meetings on the 21st with public safety.
Probably a
Meet
little
right
bit,
around the same time.
probably a little bit earlier on the next one. To adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
aye.
We're at 6:29. All right, we're good for now. Thank you.
thank you.